Should you wait on buying a Tesla? You may think this is a video that ages very poorly and is very time sensitive, but at the end of the day, I don't think it is, because it's a mindset subject that I think is worth looking into, because so many of us are in different situations, different circumstances. I'm sure a lot of you want to buy a Tesla, but you're not in a good financial place yet. But some of you are thinking about it, but also hearing, likely, about a lot of the advancements in battery tech Tesla is working on. And a lot of you are probably thinking we should at least wait until Battery Investor Day before we pull the trigger on such an expensive vehicle, but I'm here to tell you, you shouldn't really try to time it that hard, because at the end of the day, despite all of these exciting upcoming features like the million-mile battery and the Plaid powertrain and the Tesla Roadster and the Cybertruck, despite all of this, Tesla is not slowing down. They're still investing tons into research and development, and a lot of us feel like we have to time the market just right, but then later on, you will feel like you got gypped. You will feel like you got ripped off, just like a lot of people who currently are driving the Model 3 and were early adopters of it. They had to put up with manufacturing issues, and later on realizing, hey, I could have bought this same exact car for around $10,000 cheaper if I had waited a few years. So it's kind of a double-edged sword if you're trying to time Tesla just right and buy the vehicle right when it gets updated so that you're still in the early adopter phase, but at the same time, you're on the bleeding edge of tech and you're getting the latest generation battery pack or the latest vehicle, whether it be Cybertruck, Roadster, Plaid powertrain. All of this stuff is cool, and I'm very excited to see it come out, but Tesla is still going to be working on next generation batteries for after the million-mile battery comes out. They'll already be hard at work at the 2 million-mile battery, and to those thinking that Teslas are finally going to get cheaper, eventually, yeah, I'm sure they will start hitting below the $30,000 price target, but after that, they'll probably start aiming below the $20,000 price target, and then you'll feel like, well, I should have just waited for that vehicle to come out, because when it comes to Tesla and their R&D department and the new models they're working on, there's always something in the pipeline. They're always going to be striving to make it cheaper, faster, better, longer range for the better price. And at the end of the day, Tesla is not a traditional auto company because they're comfortable with releasing very small incremental upgrades throughout the year as soon as they're available and just implementing them onto the assembly line as soon as they seem fit. They're not the company to do annual refreshes. You know, this is the 2018 Model S, this is the 2019 Model S. No, they're just like, you know what? We can do the Plaid powertrain now, let's stuff it in there. And they don't really give you much of a timeline to go off of, and the truth is, that's not going to change. After all of the exciting products we have in the pipeline, Plaid powertrain, million-mile battery, Cybertruck, Roadster, all of that stuff is eventually going to become obsolete 5 years after it comes out by the next generation Roadster, the next generation Cybertruck. And yeah, that doesn't mean that these products are going to be bad or that they're going to be instantly dated. I'm just saying that this rate of innovation and this rate of improvement over time is not going to just suddenly stop after these new exciting announcements come forward. So eventually, when it comes to waiting to buy a Tesla at the right time, whether you're waiting for maybe a Model Y standard range or you're waiting for the Model 3 to drop in price, eventually you just have to decide when it makes sense for you. When is the range going to suit your daily needs, and when is the price point going to be reasonable enough that you can afford it and still enjoy all of the perks? I mean, there is the cost of waiting with full self-driving getting more expensive. So maybe if some of you truly believe in Tesla's full self-driving vision that it will get better in the future and you don't want to end up paying $10,000, $15,000 for software, then sure, I can understand why, yeah, maybe buying a Tesla sooner rather than later is a good move, because sounds like as more and more full self-driving features roll out, the more expensive that feature is going to become. But even then, with that same argument of full self-driving getting more expensive, it's rumored that they will have a subscription model for it by the end of this year, which may over time end up costing more, but in the short term, you'll be able to take advantage of those full self-driving features on a more monthly basis, and you may not be able to own it outright if you do it that way, but you'll be able to reap the benefits that other people who want full self-driving now or wanted it before, so they were happy to spend the $6,000 to $7,000. You won't have to spend that much. So there's benefits to waiting, but at the same time, the waiting game, guys, it never ends, okay? If you're waiting for some type of peak innovation where it's like, okay, $20,000, 400-mile range, great, it's perfect, now I can finally buy a Tesla. Well, 10 years from then, they'll probably find a way to make it $15,000 and go 500 miles. So you can wait forever, essentially. The technology, yes, it is getting better, and that's why I enjoy talking about it so much, is because we get to see such leaps in innovation and electric vehicles grow so fast. And the important thing to remember, because I see a lot of people commenting like Tesla will truly have market demand as soon as they get 400-mile range with $20,000, it's like, that doesn't just happen overnight. It is a very long, tedious process of eventually getting to the point where the range is that good and the price is that low. And we're in the the middle of that transition. I mean, it feels like a lot of people don't acknowledge the fact that it was not physically possible for you to buy an electric vehicle for $35,000 and go over 200 miles on a single charge just 5 years ago. 5 years ago, that wasn't possible. Imagine what's going to be possible in another 5 years. Yes, I do believe those amazing specs we all want in an EV to make them practical and affordable for everyone, those will eventually come, but we're in that transition process. And through economies of scale, Tesla will be able to lower the price of battery packs, all of the parts that go into the vehicle, and we're just in the dead set middle of that transition process. I mean, look at the electric vehicle market 10 years ago and look at it now. You know, there's been so much change, there's been so much practicality, and Tesla is desperately trying as hard as they can to lower the prices and make them more affordable to more people. Gigafactories are a key part of that, but don't always be waiting for the next big announcement, because there will always be another one, and eventually you have to ask yourself, are you really going to be driving this car 1 million miles? And even if you bought a Tesla right now and that happened to be the last Tesla that had the older battery pack that needed to be serviced every 300 to 500,000 miles, that's still a long time to own a car, and that's still a huge number of years of you enjoying a safe vehicle with tech that gets software updates, and I think you're going to enjoy it. And keep in mind, okay, once your Tesla hits 300,000, 500,000 miles on it, the battery needs to be serviced. They can probably replace it with the best battery chemistry that's available at the time once you need your battery to be serviced. And then you might have an advantage that some of the people who are waiting for the million-mile battery won't have, because they will figure out some new battery chemistry by the time your battery needs to be serviced. So it's not the end of the world if you don't get that million-mile battery or that Plaid powertrain. I understand a lot of us waiting for specific models like the Cybertruck, but keep in mind, because it's a very new vehicle, there could be all kinds of day one, generation one Cybertruck production issues that the early adopters have to deal with that people that take their time and wait a couple of years won't have to deal with, because they'll have production ironed out. So there's all kinds of benefits to waiting, but at the same time, negatives to trying to time Tesla exactly right. So the short answer on waiting to buy a Tesla is no, you don't need to wait. If you're in a financial position and the vehicle that you're interested in can suit your daily needs, just go for it. Just buy the car, enjoy it, and drive it, and live it up. Enjoy the autopilot, enjoy the added safety features, enjoy the cost savings. And yes, understand that cars and batteries and prices will get better after you buy your car, but that's going to happen 5 years from now, that's going to happen 20 years from now. There's no way around it. The technology will be rapidly improving, and there's never going to be a perfect time to buy, because we're not going to reach peak battery or peak Tesla anytime soon. It's going to be gradually improving over time. If you have some thoughts on waiting to buy a Tesla, or when you think the crucial time is, feel free to hit me up over on Twitter. Join my Discord. We can chat more about it there. Thank you all for watching. Hope you have an excellent rest of your day. Take care.